Hi, this is the Era of Zera, and I'm doing my independent spoiler review of Batman, the 1989 version, filmed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. Okay, so why am I doing this video? I love the character of Batman. I always have since I was a little kid. I always believed that I could be Batman when I was a little kid, and I still want to be Batman. Who doesn't want to be Batman? He is a billionaire, he's a crime fighter, he's suave, sophisticated, he's got all the toys, all the costumes, all the fun, and yeah, I just fell in love with the character. As you can see, I love Batman. He was the coolest character ever in my mind. He fought for what was right, he fought for the people, he's intelligent, he's righteous, and he protects us. So, anywho, so this movie is so important because it really kind of saved the comic book film genre. So, I mean, the original comic book movies that everyone really thinks of are the Superman starring, are from the 70s starring Christopher Reeve, and they are spectacular. The original marketing for that was just, you'll believe a man can fly, and people really did. But then, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace came out in the mid-'80s, and that was pretty bad with that weird, Norwegian, blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy with fingernails, that could attack Superman. He was really weird. So that was a kind of a bad movie. That was the Batman and Robin of Superman films. So this really kind of kicked it off and really went dark with it and took Batman really seriously compared to the Adam West campy, fun child TV show. So, as we know, Michael Keaton stars as Batman. Michael Keaton, had in today's society, I don't think Michael Keaton could get cast as Batman. People think that Ben Affleck's casting was critical. Keep in mind, Michael Keaton is not the tallest guy. He's a comedian. He'd done Beetlejuice and Mr. Mom as his run-up to being Batman. So there was a lot of skepticism of whether he could do this. But this movie, he really took it seriously. His Bruce Wayne was odd and kind of a recluse a little bit, and just kind of socially awkward and mysterious. His Batman was dark. The all-leather suit. I just remember watching the film the first time, and in the opening of the film, you see the mugging, or you see this couple being mugged, and you think it might be the murder of Bruce's parents, but it's not. It's these two thugs, and they're talking about the myth of the bat and whatever, and then you just see him slowly come down out of the background or whatever like that, real quietly, and it's just so cool. And and then he just kind of goes through, and his suit's all black, and it's filmed in the dark, so you kind of can't see him, and he's got his batarang, and he's lifting people up, and then throwing them through doors and through the walls, and then he just picks it up. He picks up the thug, and the guy's like, "What are you?" And he just goes, "I'm Batman," and throws him. It's just so cool, and then he just throws the gas bomb and disappears. And it's so great. Stars can be. This movie is so good. Then Jack Nicholson. What can't be said about Jack Nicholson's Joker? His Joker was creepy and funny and terrifying, and it really was the Joker of all Jokers until Heath Ledger took over the role in The Dark Knight. A full 20-some years later, so almost 25 years later. So it was the quintessential Joker for over a generation. And then in the movie, we all know that after that, there's all this, the press is trying to investigate the Batman. The police don't know what to make of him. They're trying to find him. They're trying to disavow the story. Vicky Vale comes to town. She's a photojournalist who's been doing, who is a real journalist who goes into some dangerous areas to take photographs of things. And she gets assigned she's interested in the Bat story, which is why she comes to Gotham. And she gets assigned with Walter Knox to try to hunt down the Bat story, and Knox's idea to get a Pulitzer Prize and to make it big in Gotham as a reporter. While at the same time, Jack Nicholson plays Jack Napier, who will become the Joker, and he is kind of the right-hand lieutenant to Boss Grissom, who's the mafia kingpin of Gotham, and played by Jack Palance, the late great Jack Palance, and in that, and he's having and Jack is having an affair with or Jack Nicholson's character is having an affair with Jack Palance's young girlfriend and everything, and Jack Palance knows about it, so he sends Napier to go to Axis Chemicals, one of their kind of corporate shell companies for the mafia, where they launder their money and everything, and stage a robbery, look like corporate espionage, and destroy the plant to kind of absolve them and to kind of to act as a red herring, so that it kind of gets the Grissom crime family out of the limelight, because they've been attacked as well. So at a charity function that Bruce Wayne's holding, Bruce meets Vicky Vale, and they're kind of wandering through the house. And Bruce, you kind of see how he's awkward and doesn't know how to react around people, because he's spends his nights and his time being Batman, and he just doesn't know how to socialize. Even though he's hosting these grand parties, he doesn't introduce himself to people until the very end. And then you can kind of see what's really cool. One of my favorite things is, like, he leaves Vicky Vale and Walter Knox, and then they're kind of looking at Vicky and Knox are looking into a big mirror in this room of all these kind of armor room from all of different armor from different time periods and such. And then behind the mirror you see that there's a recording camera, that everything in the house is being recorded. And then Bruce is in his tuxedo down in his Batcave, and he's actually listening and watching Commissioner Gordon get told by a deputy that Axis Chemicals is being robbed by Jack Napier, and that they need to go down there. So the police swarm on them because they've been tipped off by Jack Palance's character, the mafia boss, who has a lieutenant in the Gotham Police Department, Eckhart, in his pocket, and they go and try to arrest Napier, and Batman shows up. So Batman takes out the thugs. The lieutenant wants to kill Napier in the act, which is what the lieutenant is on orders from the mafia boss to kill Napier, but the commissioner shows up as well. And then in the end, it's just down to Jack Nicholson's character and Jack Nicholson's right hand, Bob. Bob has Commissioner Gordon at gunpoint after Batman is about to take down Jack Nicholson, and then Batman puts him down. Jack Napier turns around, picks up a gun, tries to shoot Batman. Batman's gone, and then he turns around again, and Batman's there, which is so cool because it's just in the comics that he would turn around, be gone, and then they would turn back, and he'd be behind them or something, or he'd be back where he was. So Batman is, there. The Joker shoots at him, and he blocks it with one of his wristlet things, and he blocks it, and it shoots the Joker in the mouth, which causes his scarring because it ricochets back and hits him in the mouth. And he falls over the railing, and Batman tries to grab him, but his glove flies off, and he falls into the chemicals, which turn him into the Joker. Batman then escapes and becomes an outlaw of Gotham City even more because it looks like he threw him over, and the commissioner wanted Napier alive so that they could use him. Batman escapes. Napier turns into the Joker. He goes and has the surgery. His skin is white and everything, and then he discovers that his boss is the one who betrayed him, so he kills them and takes over the gang and starts to run organized crime in Gotham and creates. Using Axis Chemicals, creates a chemical compound, kind of mixing shampoos, soaps, deodorants, colognes, nail polish, all together, and that mixture and chemical reaction creates that laughing gas toxin that gives the citizens of Gotham that creepy smile face when it kills them. And that's kind of his plot that he's wreaking, and he's also trying to, at the same time, cast Batman as a menace. So Batman's trying to track down the Joker. Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale start to have an affair, and then Vicky gets kidnapped. Also, Vicky becomes the affection of the Joker. The Joker sees her and falls in love with her as well. So he just fantasizes about her. So one of the coolest scenes is when she goes to the museum in Gotham, the art museum, and she thinks Bruce Wayne set up the date with her, but he hasn't. It's actually the Joker, and she receives a little box that says urgent, and it is a gas mask, and then he gasses everybody in the restaurant, comes in, and just a cool scene when the Joker just walks in with like this weird makeup on to cover his white face, but he still has this grin on, and they're doing the music, and he's walking through the art museum, graffitiing all the art and breaking it and painting it, or whatever, in Joker colors and everything. It's really cool, and then Vicky Vale in the classic scene throws the water in his face, and he kind of jokingly goes, I'm melting, and then he just kind of scares her because his makeup's worn off, and then Batman comes through the skylight, and that classic Batman thing where he flings the cape out and comes through the skylight. Then they do a high-speed chase in the Batmobile, and you get to really see for the first time how cool the Batmobile was. I mean, that was a real cool-looking Batmobile. It was armored, it had guns, it could, do tight turns, it was wicked fast, it had a jet engine on the back. And then Batman has discovered that the Joker is poisoning people with that combination of chemicals. He gives it to Vicky Vale to break the story and to protect people. Joker, upset that the Batman is interfering with his plans, takes over the broadcast in Gotham and says that he's going to dump $20 million of cash on the crowd in Gotham in a couple of days in a big parade, and that he challenges the Batman to show up. So at the party, Vale and Knox are photographing it and writing a story about Gotham's greed, and the Joker's out there with these big floats and big creepy-looking balloons, and he's out there running around doing this, getting ready to do this parade, and right before the parade happens, Vicky Vale discovers that Bruce Wayne is Batman. She figures it out. She's a reporter. She's an investigator, and she confronts Batman. Bruce Wayne in the Batcave. Alfred takes her down to the Batcave, and they talk, and she asks if they're going to have a relationship and anything, and how can they love each other. And he says, Bruce Wayne, this is a real moment, I think, that makes Batman, that kind of sells me on Michael Keaton's characterization of Bruce Wayne / Batman being the real Batman. Is, he kind of goes, I'd like to think we can make it work, but he's out there right now, and I have to go to work. And he puts on his suit, and that kind of classic, you see him suiting up from head to toe, and then he gets in the Batwing and to go to the parade to take down the Joker. And the Joker starts gassing people, and people start dying, and the Batwing comes down and takes all the balloons and takes them out over the bay so that the gas doesn't hurt anybody. And then, just a cool money shot, the Batwing flies up into the air, stalls in front of the full moon, creating the bat signal, and then drops back down into the skylight, and drops back down, and then he confronts the Joker. The Joker shoots down his Batwing with this really large, long-barreled revolver, which I don't really understand how that works, considering everything else is so well armored, but he just shoots him down. He runs into Vicky Vale, who had been covering the event, and the Joker takes her up to the top of Gotham Cathedral. And while they're going up the stairs of the Gotham Cathedral, Batman's slowly falling, having been in a plane crash. He's stumbling and such. Climbing up the stairs, the Joker starts to try to... the Joker, when he gets to the top, he pours acid out of his flour on his suit, and it drops the bell down and breaks the stairs. Batman survives, though. Some of his henchmen are already in the cathedral, so as Batman works his way up, he's fighting all these different henchmen up there, and then he finally confronts the Joker. And the Joker, Batman has realized from what the Joker has said in the past, that Batman has already realized that the Joker is actually the guy who killed his parents, Bruce Wayne's parents, which I think is a little, which is a departure from the story. Joe Chill is the one who kills the parents in the comics and everything. But this was just kind of something to kind of show that to set up the line of you made me and I made you. I made you, but you made me first. And when they're confronting each other, and then they start fighting, and the Joker. It looks like he punches the Joker over the ledge of Gotham Cathedral, because in this iteration, Batman will kill people, which is very different than in other iterations of Batman. There are some stark contrasts to the typical Batman characterization. So he throws him over, it looks like, but then the Joker's actually on the other side of the ledge. He throws Vicky and Batman over the ledge, and as he's trying to escape on a helicopter ladder, Batman grapple hooks his leg to one of the gargoyles, and then the weight is too heavy and the Joker falls down as he's trying to fly away and hold on to the ladder, and he dies. Batman and Vicky fall off the ledge too, but he uses a grapple hook to save them, takes them back down. The Joker's dead. And then the movie is wrapping up, and the press is acknowledging the existence of the Batman, as well as the Gotham police. The police are saying that Batman is a friend of theirs now, and that he is a protector. And Harvey Dent, who's played by Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams, speaks and reads the letter from Batman that he will always be there if violence and evil should ever endanger the city. You just call him. And then Knox asks from the crowd, how do we call him? And he says, he gave us a signal. And they flare up the bat signal and shine it into the sky. And as this real epic music that they had for this movie, I can't remember if it's John Williams who did the score or who did the score for this Batman film, but the music is fantastic as well. And as it's kind of paneling through Gotham City, kind of going from the street all the way up to the top, you see Batman standing on top of one of the buildings with the cape billowing in the wind and the bat signal on. And it's just, that's a real quick synopsis of the film, and it's just wonderful. I mean, Tim Burton's direction here, the fact that he took the character so seriously in contrast to the Adam West stuff. This Batman had body armor, he was tough, he fought, he was dark, he was brooding, he was violent, he was somebody you believed could exist in the real world. His Gotham was dirty. It almost looked like it was, even still at the time, it looked like his Gotham was actually a place out of time. You could believe his Gotham was Chicago in the 40s and 50s in the Mafia. And it had this real cool Gothic architecture to the city, but it had modern stuff. And so it was a really interesting and unique take on Gotham. It was gritty, it was real. You could believe that it's a city that would have that level of kind of crime on the outside, beauty from far away. You would have these rich societies and people like Bruce Wayne existing, while at the same time have the corruption on the day-to-day streets. It was just it's a remarkable film because it saved and set the tone for the comic book industry. Now, Joel Schumacher ruined it in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin and nearly destroyed the comic book movie genre again. But I find with comic book movies, they kind of recycle. They'll get a little stale and then they'll recycle. So Superman got stale, they did this Batman. When this Batman got stale, they did X-Men. When X-Men got stale, they started the Iron Man Marvel universe. And now Marvel universe is not stale. But now that kind of brings us into modern times, and the technology has gotten better, and the actors who are participating have the scale of those actors have gotten better, and these movies are serious movies. I mean, The Dark Knight won Heath Ledger an Oscar. So these movies are taken very seriously, and they're done in an epic way now, and they are kind of becoming a standard that Oscar caliber actors want to be a part of. So although the Marvel universe is still the strongest of the comic book movie universes and doesn't show any signs of slowing down, Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out, and it's supposed to be phenomenal. Avengers 2. You see DC now with Ben Affleck's Batman. It had rebounded with Christopher Nolan's obvious Batman trilogy, had revamped that character to be even darker than Tim Burton's Batman, which was not easy to do, but even cooler. Now we see Batman v Superman movie coming out with Ben Affleck playing Batman, which I think is a fantastic choice to play the Batman. I really, other than Carl Urban or Hugh Jackman, and they couldn't get Hugh Jackman because he's still signed with Marvel and Fox to do X-Men films. Other than Hugh Jackman or maybe Carl Urban to be Batman, Ben Affleck is brilliant. He's a great choice. I think his Batman's going to be really, really good, and I hope it is. And so yeah, this is the review of Batman 1989. Thanks for watching, and I will be reviewing a couple of other some of my other favorite movies and such independently. Some of them will be comic movies, some of them will be sci-fi films, some of them will be just kind of all my other favorite movies. Some of them are just kind of screwball comedies like Mel Brooks and spoofs. So we'll see how it goes. But thank you for watching. Leave comments below and subscribe and like the video if you will, please. And have a great night. Thank you. Bye.